You're listening to Enhance's bonus segment, Weird Wednesday. Weird Wednesday is our time to talk about the strange, the unsettling, and the spooky.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Weird Wednesday. I'm Gabby Sabat, and y'all already know that we're switching it up this time for Weird Wednesdays. And so today I have Sydney Floyd back with us again.
Hello.
Hi, Bessie for the Rusty. How's it going? How's life? Everything okay?
Life is abundant. Life is abundance tenfold at the moment. So we're strapped in. We're hanging on tight.
Tea. That's so great. I love that for you. Yeah, I'm hitting a rocky patch. Literally yesterday was not a good day for me, but we're getting back on the saddle. We'll be all right. It'll be okay. And if I start crying, like, ignore me. Anyway,
Let's get that cortisol out of here.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'll be okay. It's just been a rough like 48 hours for me. So here we are. But that's totally okay because we're going to be talking about some really cool topics today. We're going to do auras and aesthetics. Ooh. Anyway, but yeah, so should we just hop into it? Should we just go for it?
I think we absolutely should. That's life. You know, you just dive right in.
Dive in with the sharks. Hope you don't get bit and live your best fantasy.
When we're recording this because it is currently July. So go watch Shark Week whenever you guys watch this.
Shark bait. Ooh ha ha. Yes. Not sponsored, but here we are. Okay. Before we jump in, I have a question for you because Sam let me down on this question and I was so sad. I was like, I'm gonna hang up right now. Do you have a favorite Shrek quote or a quote that you use on the daily from Shrek?
Oh my gosh. You know, I just watched Shrek the other day and they say some out of pocket chi in Shrek. And I think that there's one quote that Lord Farquaad says. And he's talking about Princess Fiona. And it's like, I can't even remember the quote. So I'm sorry, because I'm not going to give you like the best answer, but I hope that this is like works because it gives off the energy of like the guy that is in the frat, but he's also like just barely 5'5", like maybe like 5'3", but he like fully with confidence says 5'5". That it's giving me him going to the women's basketball team and he sees like the finest woman there and he's like, hey, yo, mama, I'm going to let you buy me dinner.
Oh my.
That's the energy that the quote gives. And I feel like that's me.
Oh my God. I'm kind of like, what is it?
It's in the beginning of the movie when he's like picking out princesses and looking at them. He says some like crazy, like, I was like, man, they're calling out all the misogynistic men right now because that's them.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So I love anything that points out patriarchal habits or toxic masculinity. Let's talk about it.
From Shrek 1, like, my favorite quote is, "Number 3, my lord." It's too funny. It's too funny. Number 3, my lord.
And so I wish that I had because that it's that same like a short
right. It's just like a little punch in the face. But no, I asked Sam and Sam was like, I actually hate Shrek. I was like, what? Are you kidding me?
What?
Right. I was about to fight. I don't remember what episode we recorded it on. I think it was number 2, actually. Where it's like the first one of me and him, and I asked him that, and he fully just like disappointed me. And then I was like, okay, like what about SpongeBob? And he was like, And I was like, you're kidding. Yeah. He was shaking his head. I was like, you're kidding me.
I already have an issue with Sam about that, okay?
We will have to
an issue with the fact that okay, you know what? If we just very, very quickly, my box set, baby. Box set. That was a horrible movement of the camera, and I apologize.
No, that was beautiful. So for those of you who couldn't see, those were like a whole like couple CD cases of the full like seasons of SpongeBob in the corner of her room on her wall. And I literally, we're gonna have to fight Sam because Sam was like, just something gave me the ick, and then I'm like over it, and I'm not into it anymore. And I was like, what? So like for Shrek, I remember him saying it was Shrek is love, Shrek is life. Do not look up that video; it is traumatizing. But
for that's what Gen Zers who know what we're talking about.
He was like, that gave me the ick, and then I think he said like Shrek 3 or 4 gave him the ick with the babies.
What? Why are you hating on Shrek? You know,
I couldn't tell you. I'm just here. I am the messenger. You'll just have to listen to that episode and get on him for it later.
No, I just watched Shrek like 3 weeks ago. It holds up. Oh, okay, yeah. Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy holds up.
It's like the Beatles. Like it's never old. Like that's where we're at. Oh, it's so funny. But anyway, so yeah, we're gonna have to fight him. But let's dive into the topics. I will go first. So I am doing auras. Ooh, spectacular. And mind me as I fully jump from screen to screen to read all my notes here. But, auras, just the, broad definition here, are thought of as unseen fields of energy surrounding a person's physical body. And these can affect, the current mood, emotional state, and there's different colors that associate with different qualities or emotions of people. They are commonly known to be attached to chakras. But again, give or take, you have to also think like with the whitewashing of certain practices, they're kind of interchangeable. And so some people really believe that they're really attached to chakras. Some people don't. But also like, as we talked about in our chakra episode, there's not only those chakras, there's thousands and thousands, hundreds and hundreds of, chakras. So, when I go through these colors and you're like, that's more than what we learned, you will understand that it gives or takes within that. Okay. So what do you feel about auras, Sid? What is your thoughts on just them in general before we dive in?
So my thoughts with auras are, I feel like the quality of your aura is much more important, at least like in my observation of energy, than like colors and symbolism. Because I feel like there's a lot of symbolism with auras, which is, a pretty thematic thing in the kind of chakras, auras, and different practices that have become kind of normalized in American culture that kind of come from a lot of different cultures.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't put a whole ton of emphasis on like auras in my daily life, but I do put emphasis on like the energy that I feel like I'm holding in my aura and the energy that other people are like holding in their auras. I feel like there's some junky energy can kind of get stuck, can get like kind of clung to you, and that would be in that aura. So that's where I'm kind of focused on and how I feel about it. I think they're cool.
Yeah, I think they're really cool too. I have gotten an aura reading before.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like I can see auras because and there's multiple ways you could see auras. It's not as clear cut either, according to some of these articles and things like that. Like some people can just look at their hand and focus in between their fingers in the little crevices and really focus and see their aura. Some people close their eyes and they just bask into colors, which is also potentially part of their aura. Some people feel auras. Some people do that. Oh, what is it called? I'm totally blanking, but it's like they'll stand on like a white background and do the pictures, and then all of a sudden their like colors come out from behind it. It's like a
projector.
It's kind of like that, but they literally just put you on a white background and take a picture of you, and they see the aura around you, and they see multiple colors. It's not just one color. Okay. Some people bask in a certain color in a certain time. So like, let's say they're feeling a little bit, sad. There's a certain color attached to that where it's the same color, but like multiple different layers to that, because everything's not super clear cut.
Okay.
But we're going to talk about like the generalized core colors today.
Okay. There's so many ways to get to it, right?
100%. There's even people that will, literally like go to, I can't remember what it's called. And I'm looking at my notes, and of course I didn't write it down, but it's literally like they take a picture of you in front of like a white wall, and they like make sure like the lighting is very gentle. Like they don't want like a huge spotlight, but it's a very gentle like spot, I guess, light of spot, whatever. And then you pretty much take a picture with a certain type of camera, and it finds the colors that are radiating off you. It's so cool. And I just cannot, I'm pretty sure it's just like categorized as an aura reading, but I cannot remember the verbiage for it, and I do apologize for that. If anybody wants to tell me in the comments, please comment, let me know. But
I'm like, is this like an infrared light cam? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, like it's like a certain camera that you use to like help find the vibrational colors around you.
That's very, very cool.
Yes. So let's go into these colors. Let's break it down. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys some short color definitions, and then we're going to dive into our own personal colors, or and see what are kind of more in depth of those, just because again, it's a lot of information, little time we get. Okay, so I'm just going to do, go down. So red is the first one, and they're usually known to be more energetic and fiery. Sometimes the opposite of that could be, having a little bit more of anger. It also is it could be love, but it's not necessarily just red that is love, which is interesting.
Fiery passion.
Yeah, that's a good way. Like very like, ooh, Then there's orange, which is very attached to being creative, being very action orientated, very positive. So that's really interesting, because that does connect with me on a couple levels, but they don't really have like a negative to it. They don't really have like if it's this orange, then it's, this negative type of way. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. Yeah. Yellow is sunny, charismatic, and confident.
Yeah,
which I love that. Green,
that solar plexus.
Yeah, see how it's starting to connect to different things. It's very interesting. Like
yellow is the color of solar plexuses, if y'all didn't hear the chakra episode.
Right, exactly. So it's all connecting. It's all interconnected. Mm-hmm. Green is, the heart chakra. So we have being loving, compassionate, nurturing. Very like all encompassing when it comes to showing compassion. It's a lot of motherly love, which is interesting. Now here we come with the pink, which this is where I'm like, okay, where does it connect? But a lot of kindness, caringness, lovingness. This is where, stereotypically as well, with Valentine's Day and things like that, love and like mushy gushy relationship stuff. Pink. Then we have to blue, which if you're blue, you're giving me some, baddie vibes here, but also that it could mean other things as well. But the core blue color is very like powerful, insightful, and ever flowing.
Okay.
So like in my experience, the negative of like a different color blue would be, you know, a little bit of sadness, a little bit of depression, but that interconnects with black, which is black is about being tired and feeling low. So it's interesting.
Is my aura black right now?
I don't know. I don't think so. Are you feeling low?
So tired is the only thing.
Well, and I wonder if it's like our definition of tired, which is just like exhausted, like when I go to bed, or if it's like tired of a situation or tired of an emotion. I don't know. We'll have to dive into it.
That kind of tired is very is just happens to come up a lot in like specifically tarot, like when you are talking about like if you're tired of something, like you're in a tired pattern, that kind of verbiage comes up a lot.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the card. I don't know. I think it's swords, and it's that like where the guy is like his hands are in his like head, and he's in bed, and it's like a black background. I don't know. Is it?
I'm not super familiar with the Wayne Ryder Smith writer.
I can't remember. It was. I think it's like this. I don't want to say it and be wrong, but I feel like it's swords for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to look it up later, but so fun.
I like the Eight of Pentacles cards is like in my deck. It's this girl taking a nap in a pumpkin patch.
That's kind of fun. That's different. I kind of like that.
But that's rest. That's not tired. That's you need rest.
Right. That's like relaxing. Yeah. That's not excuse me. It's not like as much as like it would be if you were like pressed, tired.
That's that long-term burnt out energy.
Oopsie daisies. But what I do think is also very interesting, there's a difference between purple and indigo in this.
Okay.
They both kind of go under the umbrella color, like umbrella word of empath. Or being empathetic, but purple is more intuitive and indigo is more like sensitive, like sensitivity.
Okay. But I can kind of see that because isn't purple that like very like crown chakra, whereas the indigo is more is like above that or something, or the indigo is
that's
interesting separation in chakras.
Right. So with purple has always been a core color for the crown chakra, which, reminder for those of you who don't remember that episode, is the, tap chakra here per se. And it does have to do a lot with, being intuitive.
That connection to source.
Right. And I know when, I get readings or give readings with oracle cards, like purple is a very like, okay, you're about to go through a spiritual transformation. Like all of the cards that are attached to purple are spiritual, whether they're indigo or a pure purple. Now, indigo, I think, is more emotionally sensitive. And that's where that like empatheticness comes from with indigo. But with like the purple, it's intuitive. So you're being empathic to what you already know versus sensitive to what is about to happen.
Yeah, it's that kind of empath to path, like ESP. I don't know, but like that outsourcing. They're both
correct.
Outsourcing.
Yeah, so it's interesting how the cookie crumbles with those. But then
that's how the cookie crumbles.
Well, true. But then the last two colors I have here, white and rainbow. So white is a very pure, wise color, while rainbow is more busy and energized and then just like extremely confident. So kind of returning back to that touch of yellow where we talked about being confident. It's kind of like an overall. Which is interesting because I don't think I've ever, within the research I've done and things like that, like, I don't think I've really seen anyone with like a core rainbow aura. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I can't say that I've run across it is the only thing. Like, I have never in my, like, looking at other people's auras and, like, hearing different people kind of talk about their experience with auras. I've heard of, like, different colors, like maybe 2 or, like, maybe 3.
Right.
But certainly, like, 2 colors to me is already kind of, like, wild.
Right. And I wonder if that is like the, whitewashing part of this, because like
People want to have it all.
right. And I mean, that's fine, but I mean, I definitely don't want to be tired and pure and sensitive and intuitive and powerful and like I feel like that's a lot at once.
And a woman, there's too much. Okay.
There's just too much going on. Like there's no way.
Oh my god.
There's no way. I mean, I'm overwhelmed of being only 3 of those things at a time. Imagine me doing that all the time.
The human condition is it's an enigma.
Ain't that the truth?
That's you.
Thank you. I was coughing. That's my favorite thing to do in the world. Anyway, okay, so in your experience, what colors have you kind of connected with the most? Or like when you got this aura reading this one time, what colors did you associate with the most?
So I have had my aura read a couple of times, but never by appointment. It has never been something that I have gone and found someone that I really love and trust their like psychic abilities and then paid for a reading. It has always been kind of like serendipitous where I've just been hanging out with someone who does read auras and they like have time to read mine. So I've gotten like different things. I've gotten a yellow aura before that somebody thought that I had a very yellow aura, and I've gotten purple before, and then I've also gotten maroon.
Ooh.
I feel like I probably resonate with like orange right now. I guess typically I would relate to like a yellow color because I do feel like I try to be very like bubbly, but also I'm a very confident person. People say that shit to me all the time. They're like, "You're very confident." I'm like, "Am I?
Am I?" And you're like, "Are you sure? Temperature check. Are you good? Are you saying this correctly?"
I mean, I may not always be sure of myself, but I guess I'm confident.
Literally, that's my entire life, girly.
But so I love yellow. I like to be kind. That's a characteristic of myself that I am prideful about when I'm not on my sinful human shit. I don't know. But I feel like that's a general statement. I use kind of general statements, and I typically do use more Christian verbiage because I know there's a lot of Christians that really appreciate when you respect their verbiage. And I know me personally, I'm like, hey, say whatever the heck, or but so when I say sinful being, I just mean we all do stupid crap all the time and then off of our crap. But so when I'm on it, I love being a kind person, and I like that as a characteristic of. I'd like to say that that's a characteristic of myself.
No, yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, I kind of had the same experience. Like I've just had friends that are just uber talented. I mean, I don't even know how to explain them sometimes because they have so many beautiful gifts. Do aura readings for me, and I've always been told I'm like at like my core, like my first color is like this like corally color, like pink and orangey like mix, and then it goes out into yellow. So it's a very like you're looking at me like, girl. It's just this like beautiful, like almost like a sunset type color.
I love that.
I know, isn't that crazy? I was like, oh, that's pretty.
No, but I can see it. The second that you said coral, though, like, I feel like I'm not great with auras at all. I can't read auras. I like to think that I can because I'm a Scorpio and we water signs are very, very psychic, very intuitive.
Right. Right.
But but that's not a skill of mine. But I can kind of see it. I can see what I imagine that it looks like. Like, but you say coral and I see this like teal. I don't even know why.
You know, and I've had friends tell me like you're like a teal blue before. I fully have had that before too. And I mean, I'm happy with all colors at this point. Like, give me all. You know what? I'll be rainbow.
I feel like you're giving very much like today, though, if I can just, with my weird spiritual everything but auras knowledge, you're giving like a very white aura today. And it really could just be me not understanding how light works. And so I'm just looking at the camera. But like, it's giving purity. It's giving like, listen, I'm vulnerable. I'm here. I'm living. I am, I am affected, but I am present.
Yes. Okay, wait. So this is like kind of creepy and I'm going to bring it up. So I got a reading the other day and they literally, all they told me was like, this is your era to like cry, be vulnerable, live in this, like, so the fact that you just said that just like freaked me out. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, I'm just giving it, guys. I'm just giving it. And get with it, people.
It's giving strong woman. It's giving confident woman.
It's giving, let's see what the definition for wide was again. I have to make sure I'm reading it. It's giving wise. It's giving super pure. Actually, let's dive into it because now it's freaking me out. Okay. Let's look at what the color white means. So watch me as I scroll. So energetically speaking, it is known to be a high vibrational color. Wow, this is already done. Game over. And it's actually one of the rarest colors to find in an aura. Oh my gosh.
It's unique.
I know. Am I Beyonce? Oh my God. And it's, so they also attach, so in this article, they're really attaching white as well as purple to the crown chakra. So giving a lot of universal energy and oneness. That's crazy. So generosity, innocence, wisdom, resistance to corruption. This is hitting way too hard for me. Higher consciousness, healing capabilities. Wow.
Really sounds like right place, right time.
Right. I was fully ready to go through my coral and yellow, but you hit me with that white and I just went, let's look. Let's do it. Yeah, but if your white aura appears dark or murky, excuse me, this can indicate different signs of like being naive, judgmental, or can also give notes of self-harm, physical or not physical. That's interesting. Does it look murky to you?
It looks just a tiny bit murky, but just a tiny bit. It looks like, what's a good way to describe it? It looks like, you know those little sprites from Spirited Away? the sprites?
Yeah.
It's like, if you imagine like those, it's like they kind of line the outside of your aura, but it's like they're liquid and they move together, but kind of that puffy energy.
So it's like it's like shadowy almost. It's not technically like dirty.
Yeah, I think shadowy would be a good word because it's like almost like that corruption, but like it's on the outside of it though. So like you're radiating white and then it's kind of coming into contact with some murky.
Interesting. Maybe I have like multiple colors right now. I'm rainbow. I'm rainbow. It's happening. I'm rainbow. My God.
Think.
Okay, well, let's look into one of your colors. Which one do you want to look into? We have orange, yellow, purple, or maroon.
Let's look at yellow, because that's been the one that I resonate with the most, that like somebody else has told me. Because when they said it too, I was in high school when they said that. And so like I was at a place in my life where I was not feeling that yellow kind confident. I was feeling red, anger, and the black, tired, depressed, murky, all of it.
Okay. So yellow is connected to the chakra of the solar plexus as well, from what this is saying. Okay. And this has a lot to do with self-esteem and personal power. I was like, okay, so do you remember if it was like a bright yellow, a light yellow, like a gold?
It's a daffodil yellow. It's that bright ass Alice from Addams Family yellow.
Okay, perfect, because that is the one I've always gotten too. So this radiant and glowing bright yellow aura, it can say, notes of happiness, confidence, and overall pleasant and social nature. So pretty much that you can get through any imbalance or blockage that you might have.
Really? You tell me.
T. Oh my God. Senses of joy, pretty much.
Yes.
I mean,
the joy is here. It's me.
It's me. I'm happy. Lord knows. But that is a really good color. I think that's a very positive color, and it's kind of encouraging. Like, it's kind of giving off that, like, you're getting through it. Like, you got this, girly. Like, happiness is you. You just got to let it happen. Let it explore.
You know what I will say, though? The color yellow has always reminded me of my grandmother, who I talk a lot about my granny on Enhance, you guys. Get used to it. But it that color has always reminded me of her when she was alive, and now that she's passed. And she's blonde, but like also just like for context, my grandmother was the nicest person that I've ever known. So like wherever she's at, like I always have that like little standard of niceness in my head, my heart. And so like that color, she's always like worn very bright colors, and specifically like this one bright sunset orange, like a dusty orange, like a burnt orange, like puffy jacket that was just like faux feather everywhere. And she would wear that shit like to, pardon my French, she would wear that to like tea or to like just going out for a kind of nice lunch. Or this was not her like going to a fancy place. This was her, I'm here. Hello.
Oh, she's so cute. I kind of love that because like she wasn't afraid to wear those like bright colors and just be this like ball of like happiness, and that's like so cool.
Literally. So like I feel like that color is very encouraging. It's like somebody like right here being like, wear it. Why not?
Do it. Do it.
Like screw embarrassment. Just be confident.
See, that's really cute. And I wonder if like we give off that similar energy, and that's why people like radiate confidence off us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if it's like the same thing.
Well, that's all I want. That's my goal.
Snaps.
We're working on it.
Big snaps. But yeah. But that's all I have on auras today. Pretty cute, to the point. But yeah, is there any other questions you might have about auras?
I guess just since it's 222, like what can affect your aura?
Oh my God, so many things.
I feel like people talk a lot about like blocked auras, or like having a certain like aura quality. Like can your aura change?
Oh,
like
yeah.
a lot about core auras. So like you have one core and then like your mood affects the others. And then there's I had lots of questions just then.
No, it's okay. So pretty much like your core aura is kind of like what you give off on a daily basis, like kind of who you are to your core, your mission statement, what guides your thought almost, like what is those colors are going to represent that. But it can change dependent on mood. It can change dependent on, people you're interacting with, mood, emotion, interaction, the type of setting you're in can change those outer colors. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just how you're interacting with the world, and how you're going to respond in the sense of light and color. Now, it's kind of like horoscopes, people believe them, people don't believe them. So like if I'm a Virgo and I'm gonna think about things 20 million times, I can tell you yes. And I wonder, I don't know exactly what the color is for that, but I wonder if like my color would reflect that as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So interesting. Well, you guys, tell us what you think your aura is.
Yeah, tell us if you've had an aura reading before. Give us the notes. What happened? If you want to share, love it. Love to hear it. But now we will transition into
I am going to take over Weird Wednesday. Person. Okay, so I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm talking about philosophy today. We're not going to do the whole big shebang of philosophy because that would take a master's degree, but I am going to go into aesthetics. If you guys have not already, do check out the aesthetics blog post on Enhance website. It is up. All you have to do is go to enhance.productions and go to our blog, and then you will see creating intrinsic something or other. It is specifically, you will find it under all of my notes in which I have it pulled up. But it's aesthetics. You'll find it. I can add that.
It's phenomenal. It's under our blog post on our blog on our website. So all you have to do is go to our website and check us out. And if you don't know how to get there, there's going to be information for you. And on all of our social media, we have links to the website. So just don't be afraid to visit us and go check those out.
Don't be a stranger.
No.
But I'm going to dive into aesthetics just a little quickly because it is such a cool topic. So we're going to go through kind of Kant's interpretation of aesthetics. Basically, aesthetics is the study of beauty and taste. So philosophy, which is the study of knowledge, fun fact. So like what? That explains why it's such a kind of cluster mess of information. It's because it's literally the study of knowledge. And philosophy actually translates like philosophy, Sophie, which is like that ancient Latin, Sophia for love, and then philo for knowledge or wisdom. So it's like the love of wisdom, the love of knowledge. And you put those together, philosophy. And so from that, we've got aesthetics. It is the study of taste and how you feel about things. So you probably remember in about 2014 and 2016 when aesthetics were real big on social media.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about the Tumblr pages, the Pinterest boards.
Visco girlies.
Yep, the Visco girlies, the Halloween costumes.
Oh my gosh.
All aesthetics. But so from that, you kind of, the overarching feeling is that aesthetics are very personal. So when you dive into that, we get a kind of more specific study of judgment. And that's where Immanuel Kant comes in. Now, Immanuel Kant was a cool dude. He is a German philosopher who existed during the 18th century in Germany. He was born, and for our astrology people, he was born on April 22nd, 1724, which makes him an Aries, I believe. April 22nd, is that the cutoff?
Ooh, I think it is. I think that's the cuspy date. Let me look.
Oh, no, Taurus. He's a Taurus.
No, he's a Taurus. I was about to say April 22nd sounds like a Taurus, but I had to check. He had to been a very chill guy.
Mm-hmm. He was not a chill guy.
Wow. Well, yeah. I mean, he is a cuspy-ish, so.
Yes. No, Immanuel Kant was not a chill guy, but it was because, like, the world that he lived in was very much a world of hierarchy. He lived in a very hierarchical world because he was born not poor. And I'm forgetting exactly where on the wealth scale that he lived, but he lived high enough where he had the option to kind of associate himself with different wealth members of society. And if I'm remembering correctly, then it was important for him to like become established in the kind of bureaucratic, aristocratic. I'm not thinking bureaucratic, aristocratic. Thank you. Yeah. Like the aristocratic scene was interesting to him, and he wanted to understand that group of people. And so he like built his own professional like standing and wherewithal in order to be invited to these galas and parties and talk to these people, and was like, you guys suck. Perspective.
Hi guys. So a second ago when I was talking about the hierarchical aspects of Kant's life, I was actually not talking about Immanuel Kant at all. I was talking about Diogenes. If you're familiar with the Greek philosopher Diogenes, he was a cynic. He's one of the founding fathers of cynicism. He lived circa 300 BC. So not at all during the same time period as Kant, way before Kant. Kant did have a lot of views on judgment, where he thought people should be treated as people, as human beings. But this did not correlate to Diogenes' life and works.
I want to treat people like humans. And so like a popular thought of Kant is to, like, if you're going to hire somebody, like if you were to hire a painter, to treat them like a human who has painted a house rather than a client or work relation. That personal relationship was very important to him. And so bringing that back to judgment was a very important topic for Kant. He was like, what is up with judgment? What's going on? Why does this have such a huge impact on our lives, on society? And so he kind of brings that back, and we can use it for aestheticism. So we take this, judgment has a huge, huge impact on society. It affects the micro, how we interact with people just on a daily basis. If we're purchasing things from somebody, if we're passing someone on the street, to the macro, if you're hiring somebody for a job, how are you judging them? How are the different ways that they present themselves physically and internally with like their resume and all the different things, just judgment, big thing. So
this is about to really mess me because I literally, as someone that also acts as like a hiring manager, I mean, how you present yourself is such a big deal. But also, like, if they're coming in t-shirts and a flip-flop, they don't.
You have to at some point separate it, though, because, and this is a very large, like, philosophical point, and I'm happy that I have my philosophy notebook in front of me, because there's just so many different people to pull from. but it was, I believe, Socrates who said that, you know, we can take an objective look at why, at the question of why, you know, why do we do this? Why is this like this? Why, all of the whys. We can objectively ask a why question, but that does not negate the fact that we live in society. And so there are a lot of whys that are dependent on society. That changes throughout time. We're at a decent-ish point in society comparatively.
Right.
We got a long way to go. But where
True.
we're at, you know, we can look at that Kant perspective of, I want a holistic interaction with the person in front of me. I want to, you know, get a vibe of their energy. I want to treat them like a human being. But we also have to take into consideration the appropriate relationships of society. Is this a quick conversation? Is this a relationship in which I can share something that's personal to me, or is that inappropriate societally? Because if we ignore the rules of society, then we have no structure. But we have to question the rules because maybe they can be reformed.
Sure.
And that was a lot, but dialing it back just a little bit.
Yeah, back to where we were going.
Just back to that judgment. Judgment is very important. It can be objective. It also exists within society. Society just plays a huge role on everything because, you know, people be wildin'.
Right, exactly.
Yes. So from judgment, we have art. Here's where aestheticism comes in. Art is, you know, anything that can be created. There are literally, it can be a person, a place, a thing, an experience, a movement. It can be a sound. There are so many ways that you can present art, but the main selling point for it to be art is based off of an audience's judgment and reception of it. So just understanding the fact that judgment is an innate necessity for aestheticism is like a very, very important baseline when you're talking about art and how we feel about it, because those feelings change, but we can have a core belief, a core preference, just to kind of build upon what you were saying with like how we have kind of core auras. We have core preferences, and these core preferences kind of dictate what we think is good and bad in terms of art. So that determines our aesthetics, whether you're like an e-girl, or if you are a skater boy, or if you're all into that preppy life.
Ooh,
you know,
yeah.
hipsters still exist. Millennials are still exist, and there are hipsters out there.
Prayers for your thoughts. Prayers for your thoughts.
But it's important that we understand that there's like a core preference to your aesthetic, and that's very much based on you. Like anyone can have one kind of feeling, whatever, but your core basis are pretty much going to stay the same. And the only thing that's really going to change that is time. You know, we age out of different things, whatever.
Like,
but
we were into flare jeans. Now we're not into flare jeans, and then all of a sudden we are into flare jeans. I mean, it comes back. Things come back. What was it the other day that I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe this trend is back. Oh my gosh, I literally had it on the top of my head. I think it was the
was it low-rise jeans?
Yeah, actually it was, because it had to do with jeans. Yeah, I want to throw myself off a roof. I literally will never wear low-rise jeans. And if those come back into play and that's what people think is fun, I'm not going to wear clothes. I'm going to wear a dress, and that's all I'm going to wear my entire life, because I don't think I could do it.
What is it with the low-rise jeans?
Like, why do you need to show your belly that much? Like, why do you want to show your belly that much? Like, what's the, like, do you want to look longer? Like, what is it? Like, I just want to know.
I was into low-rise jeans until I grew out of this one really cute pair of low-rise jeans. And the second they didn't fit, I said, screw it. I don't want them. I don't want it. I don't want any of it.
I feel that. I'm a high-rise jean girly. I would always, when I was younger, get the ones that are like just at your belly button. And I just didn't like those. And I really like the high-rise because then it like really gets you like in there.
Well, because hey, listen, I got some love handles. If it's at the belly button, then there's an extra little cinch that's going in.
Right, exactly.
And my waist cinch is good enough. I'm happy with the waist cinch. Cinch.
Jesus.
Yes. But so art is a thing. We determine how we like or what we like based on our own judgments. Those stay the same. Cool. From there, art can be used as a means of communication. So once we understand that what we like artistic-wise is some type of representation of us because of its inherent connection to our morals, our biases, the way that we think. Judgment is so intertwined that now this art that we like becomes a mirror of ourselves and a mirror of how we feel. And so you can use that to relate to other people. And we see this all the time in, like look at if anybody's on Tinder, what does everybody look at on Tinder? What music are you listening to? You scroll to the bottom and you say, now, what are you listening to? Are we listening to the same shit? Because if you're listening to like Iron Maiden and I'm listening to ABBA, I don't think this is going to work.
Right. We're going to throw hands. It's fine.
Well, it's just like if somebody's listening to Lil Uzi Vert and you're like still very much into like Y2K Britney, like there is a meeting point, but I'm not at that meeting point.
Right, exactly.
But so when we use art kind of conversationally, it becomes more of a human connection basis. And Tolstoy has a cool article that he talks about art, and I believe it's just called Art by Leo Tolstoy. And he talks about how art is crucial to human life. So taking that preposition or the proposition that art is crucial to human life, right, it would follow that artistry is used as a means of philosophy, a means of knowledge passed on through time to understand one's perception and therefore understand their reality. So we take that communication that's kind of faced outwards, and you can turn that back around to understand yourself. I feel like when we talk about aestheticism, we talk a lot about the audience, but there is a conversation being started by the artist. And this is something that I really resonate to as an artist, because there's this high level of control that's going on during any type of creation, I feel. And whether that's, a letting go of control for mental health, for emotional release, for catharticism, or if that's letting go of the control you don't have in order to fully take control of whatever is in front of you. This is it is a crucial thing, because it is a form of communication vis-a-vis expression.
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a really cool thing that you can really keep going into, and I'm going to keep going into it.
Yeah.
But I do want to keep kind of stopping and going back and stopping and going back. But so we have that communication. art as a form of communication being that communication resonating based on a person's innate self in terms of judgment. So we've got everyone is on the same page in one genre of aestheticism. So we're going to hop into that singular genre and say, what can we do from here? We look at the artist. The artist individually has a very subjective experience. Their art has only to do with them and their perception of themselves and society. But because they are creating art based on their own perception of themselves and society, it becomes a conversation with themselves and the audience. It becomes an open-ended conversation that is essentially immortal, because with any art that can be digitized, or what's the word I'm looking for? Any art that can be captured, can exist periodically, can exist indefinitely. And so when that artist puts that art out, the art's reception gives a really interesting like gleam into society at the time of the art's composition and release. Because not only do we get a mirror into someone who expression in that form is crucial to them, because I really like the way that Tolstoy talks about art being crucial to human life. He says that art is when someone recounts a story and they can make the audience feel the emotions in the story. If somebody can do that, if they can affect an audience, that might be seen as art. If they can affect an audience, it is art, because when you take judgment into consideration, we, the audience, are the only people that can decide if something is or is not art.
Yeah, actually, that's interesting. Like you say it like that, because I don't know. I've always been like a more artsy, creative girly. Now, can I like paint? No. Can I like physically draw? No. But I've been dancing since I was 2 years old, since I could walk, really. But I mean, if you want to talk about actually getting lessons and stuff, 2 years old. Like that is a whole part of my life that was art, that still is art, that is still affecting other people today. People are like, you went to this dance studio, right? And I'm like, yeah. Oh yeah, I remember this dance, this costume, this song, or even like one time I was at a Mexican restaurant and this waitress looked at me and she goes, "Did you go to my grade school?" And I was like, "Don't you mean did you go to my grade school?" And she was like, "Yeah, in kindergarten I used to watch you on the morning show." Like that narrative of her, like my art of being a, journalist in a sense, getting on like the morning show news or whatever it was called at that time, like that was art to her. That was something that connected with her. That's what she remembers. So it's really interesting that you say that in the way that you say that and how these philosophers are integrating that thought, because it's so true. It's so weird what like stories and memories and dancing and theater and physical art, like drawing, painting, like all of those things are everlasting.
Yeah, and that's why it is such a huge topic, because it's taking something very specific and expanding it to a much larger playing field. Because when you take judgment, the opportunities kind of explode. Like the potential for art is in like ASMR. I like ASMR. Autonomous, synonymous, metaphysical. I don't know.
I was about to say, whoa, I don't know those big words. No, but I mean, even like on TikTok, like I watch Oh, I got you. No, like even on TikTok, I watch this guy or girl, I don't even know, but all you really see is a bottle falling down the stairs and you see when it breaks. Like, I don't know why that's like something that's so like dumb, like just so little like in my world, but it's entertaining. It is art per se. It's keeping me attuned to what this aesthetic, or I mean it might be even ASMR, I'm not sure what it's technically considered, but like the noise, how it breaks. Is it a soda bottle? Is it a alcohol bottle? Is it a, you know, jar full of pickles? I mean, it could literally I don't know, it's just the weirdness of it is still art to me.
And it's interesting that you say that because in my article, there's a quote by Immanuel Kant, and he says, "In all judgments by which we describe anything as beautiful, we allow no one to be of another opinion." And, you know, when we're questioned about things that we like, why do you like this? Because we're so in tune to ourselves and like what we like, and just knowing, oh, I like this. I like how this makes my body feel. My body, it's responding the way it responds when it likes something.
Right.
Because that is so in tuned, we don't really respond to why do you like this, that question. Like as humans, we don't respond to that question super well. We'll ask ourselves like, what is it about this specific color painted in such a way that makes like my heart and the back of my eyelids remember this specific feeling from here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, and that like also connects to like the soul and like consciousness, which is like a whole nother mind-blowing concept, you know, like how are we why are emotions like why is love, like for example, so untangible, you know, like why is it something that's just ever flowing, and sometimes it's like ever flowing with you and sometimes it's ever flowing without you, and just like why does that affect us so much? Why does heartbreak hurt so much? You know, it's like all of those things.
And these are like those big emotional questions, though. Those are the questions that artists tackle. And I personally think that that's why art resonates so much. You know, Nietzsche, Hume, and I am probably saying Hume wrong, Hume, and Kant and Tolstoy, they all come to different conclusions about aestheticism. But mine is that artists are just trying to express the unexpressible, the things that are that we're not able to put into words because we don't have words for them, like love and hatred and fear. I think that these big emotions, that is what art is. It's just conveying that. And so very much Leo Tolstoyan kind of view, because the way that I view my art, at least, is that I will project my, you know, fear, my love, my my curiosity, my anxiety, but I'll project the largest quantifiable concentration of that emotion, the most intenseness of it, as general as I can, and I'll try and make that into whatever my art is going to be. And when I put that out there, it's a form of manipulation. It's me kind of wanting to see, how do you respond to this? Do you respond how I would, or do you respond in a different way? Yeah. Because through that, I can use my art as a as like a scale to see kind of where I fall in comparison to those around me in the best way that I can express, which is, you know, in feeling and vibe and all these things that aren't quite tangible. So when you do that, you can get an objective kind of response from somebody, because they're not responding to a conversation that you guys are having. They're responding to they're almost responding to themselves. They're responding to their own reaction to the thing that they're experiencing.
Right. And I kind of think of like, what vibe do I fall into? Like, because like there's my dancer side, which I'm like, dance versus cheer is a huge thing. I think about it even in like the most minor way, like in St. Louis, like where you went to high school is literally a definition of your personality. That's how it's looked upon. So like me, I went to an all-girl Catholic high school. I will not name it just for the sake of like not naming it, but they're known as sporty girlies. They're known as being really smart, but they're also known to be, like more preppy or rich or, more of the negative stereotype of like that. And when I went there, I didn't feel that way at all. Like that was not the aesthetic that I was being posed to. Like the stereotype that they were, like the world was giving me was not what they were showing. We were theater girlies, we were dance girlies, we were club girlies, we were sports girlies, we were everything. And it brought out a lot of confidence in me. But like, if I listened to those stereotypical aesthetics that were being placed on all of the schools that I visited when I was trying to pick high school, I don't know if I would have chose that. Also, go ahead.
I think that's where we've kind of seen that that divide between like popular aesthetics and then the study of aesthetics, because the reason I mentioned that like very 2013-14 Tumblr era of aesthetics is because it's a good example of how you can have likes and dislikes that kind of fall into the same category, but the judgment is so important to aesthetics because it's based on like what you define as aesthetic. So like the like Netflix aesthetic where like, or the I don't know, I can just see my Pinterest and like all of the different like color themes where it's like this is edgy red, dark, and like the lighting is like black lighting, and like there can be an aesthetic that exists and you don't have to like acknowledge that. You can define it as something different than what everybody else defines it, based solely on like the definition of aesthetics. It was never supposed to be so clear cut. It's supposed to be, there's everything. You make you choose.
It's like a scale type thing, because like I also consider myself as a very like my sense of style is very, I feel like it's a little bit more like masculine in the sense of like I wear a lot of t-shirts, like I don't wear makeup every day, like it's a little bit more like chill kind of like relaxed, like mask vibes. Like that's how I feel. But like in the end of the day, like I also think I'm super girly. I'm like, oh my God, like I love to paint my nails. Like my nails are painted. Boom, blue, amazing. Yeah. Like I always have my hair in a ponytail. I like my curls. Sometimes I want to straighten it. Sometimes I want to dye my hair. Sometimes I want to wear a dress. Sometimes I do want to put like a cute face of makeup, and I'm really good at makeup. I love makeup, So it's like I feel like it's like a scale in a sense of like where you put yourself. Like, I also think I'm like an emo girly. I listen to a lot of like punk rock music or rock and roll or, more like saddy, depressing stuff. Like, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just like what I enjoy. But I also love listening to like EDM. I also, there's a few, not saying I love country, but like there's a few country songs I like.
I'm listening to Morgan Wallen. I'll admit.
Actually, he was just in St. Louis, literally yesterday. But yeah, I don't. He was where is he at? He was at the stadium. He was at the baseball stadium, Busch Stadium.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, he's popping over here. But like, like there's just different things going on with that, and I find it so interesting, the judgment part versus like the actual aesthetic part. It is really different because like for me, my my background, for example, is like a piece of my art. Me and you having this like podcast episode, me and Sam having Enhance, like all of this, you guys, you and CJ doing the blogs and the editing and the social media. Like, that's all y'all's art, you know? Like, yes, you're fitting a certain aesthetic, but you're supporting that art.
And so I think it's the whole like point of aesthetics, I think, is to get rid of aesthetics. It's I like Immanuel Kant's really just idea of, you know, screw the societal rules. Like, let's just treat people like humans.
Yeah, just do you.
Yeah, but it really is that let's get rid of all the other aesthetics so that we can create our own. You create your own aesthetic, and it can be whatever you want, because the definition of aesthetics is very broad, and it depends on one thing: you.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and you know, me and Sam have always pushed this, and now that you guys are part of our team, like, I'm sure you guys feel the same way. Like, we always want everyone to be themselves. There's really, like, I don't care if you have 50 million tattoos. I don't care if you're white, black, Middle Eastern, Asian, whatever. I don't care. You know, just be you. And if that's part of your identity, I accept that. Like, that's not something that I can control. That is something that connects with you. And if you, you know, decide to do that, like, that's your art. That's your way of life. That's how you express yourself. And that's the only right way, especially for you.
Yeah.
So it's just really beautiful that we're, you know, hearing those notes through your topic and just like how that expands. And it's really beautiful.
Hey, maybe not his exact words, but Kant said, eat the rich, and Nietzsche exact words said, God is dead. We're just making our way as we go.
Yeah, everyone just do you. Live your best life, and whatever the haters say, well, the haters will say.
But I am not by any means, I'm not encouraging anyone to go and try nihilism. It's okay. You don't have to. Things matter. They don't have to if you really feel that way, but you matter.
You do. 100%. 100% agree. That was such a good topic. Like, I need to pick better topics now. I feel like I've done all of like the basics. I need to get into stuff like that. That was like riveting and deep.
But yeah, so that's aesthetics. If you guys want to know more about it, I go into a lot more in the article. I talk about a lot more. We really just scratch the surface, and I like this very specific, like, be yourself. That is a really great point of aesthetics. But if you want to know more, there is more.
Yeah, check us out on our website. Check us out on our blog. Sid writes awesome blogs on there. So please, like, check them out. And, you know, don't forget to come visit us or let us know what's going on. Give us a like, give us a comment, give us a subscription, give us a follow, whatever you guys want. You know, all of our social media is listed in the bio and things like that. So please, 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 please come bother us. But we love you. We love you. And end of the line, be yourself, live your best fantasy, and let the haters hate, and because it's none of their business anyway.
Yeah, we've all got auras and autonomy.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was a Weird Wednesday, part 2, the remix, and we really hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will look forward to hearing from you guys.
Yes, thank you guys so much for listening. I am Sydney. I'm here. Yes.
I'm around.
I am around. I am on the block via Zoom and Google Meets.
Yeah, seriously, come hit us up, and we look forward to hearing from you guys.
Yes, and we're taking submissions on our website. So if you write anything and you would like to submit it to us. We like hearing from you guys.
Yes. All right. Well, this was Weird Wednesday, and I'm Gabby, and this is Sid.
I know.
Our first Weird Wednesday. But please come support and let us know if you have any ideas that you guys want us to talk about. And we look forward to hearing from you guys.
Yes.
Yay.
Have a wonderful week, year, day, life, and we love you, and blessings and good vibrations.
Yes. Bye, guys. Thanks for listening to Weird Wednesday. Tune in the third Wednesday of every month for more strange, unsettling, and spooky.